Ready to go, Ms. Johnson? You're on mute.
Hi, everyone. Really sorry about that, but we want to thank you for your patience. Before we begin, we're going to have our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Pete Lyda, just give us a few words before we get started and dive into some fun school choice information. Dr. Lyda?
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Johnson. Thank you, parents, for joining us tonight as we share with you our overview of our Colonial School Choice Program. We appreciate you for taking the interest and opportunity to choice into one of our programs in Colonial. Or if you're just learning about the Choice Program and might be considering choosing out of Colonial, please make sure that you visit your feeder pattern school and talk with your school's principal to learn about the great things that we're doing in Colonial. We are certainly doing a fantastic job in this pandemic world right now of virtual learning, and are in the process of transitioning back into in-person learning for different groups of our students. And so we look forward to that happening and seeing our smiling faces of our students every day, and hopefully in the very near future, and of course being safe along the way. But thank you so much, and I know that Ms. Johnson is there to answer any questions that you have regarding choice.
Thank you, Dr. Lyda. Appreciate you. So we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our annual Colonial School District School Choice Information Night. We appreciate your interest in our growing district and are so pleased to have you. Again, my name is Atia Johnson, and I'll be your host for the evening. Please note that all participants will remain on mute during the information session. In the event that you may have questions during the presentation, we ask that you use the chat option at the bottom of your viewing screen, and we will answer choice-related questions at the end. School Choice is an education program that allows families to make the best school enrollment decision for their child. School Choice gives students opportunities to attend schools or programs that best fit their needs. Whether it's public, charter, VOTEC, or magnet schools, students residing within the state of Delaware can attend any public, charter, or VOTEC school in the state while using the School Choice program. All families interested in School Choice are required to complete the standard application form for consideration. All parents interested in having their child participate in the School Choice program are required to complete a School Choice application. For the upcoming school year, the School Choice application period begins on Monday, November 2nd, 2020 at 8 a.m. and closes on Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. On the applications, families can apply to 3 schools and/or programs within each district or charter school. Applications are available online and in paper form. However, it is highly recommended to complete the application online to track your child's application status and progress. We are required to accept applications to all of our schools serving students in grades kindergarten through 12. However, some schools have limited seating availability. The following schools are open for School Choice: Eisenberg Elementary, Pleasantville Elementary, Wilmington Manor Elementary, McCullough Middle School, and William Penn High School. The following schools are open to choice, but some applications may be placed on a wait list: Castle Hills Elementary, Carey Downey Elementary, Newcastle Elementary, Kathleen H. Wilbur Elementary, Southern Elementary, George Reed Middle School, and Gunning Bedford Middle School. Please note, if your child is placed on a wait list at one of our schools, the wait lists are maintained until the first day of school. All choice applicants are required to be pre-registered at the resident feeder school or currently registered at a Delaware public school for processing. Pre-registration for the upcoming school year can be completed on November 2nd once the choice application period opens. Choice applicants that are not pre-registered or currently registered at a resident feeder school will not be processed or entered in the lottery drawing. This step is vital in the choice experience. In the state of Delaware, all kindergarten students must be 5 years old by August 31st of the applying school year. Students that are not 5 by August 31st are able to take Colonial's early admission testing. If the students score in the superior range, he or she may be considered for a Colonial invitation. Early admission testing is only available for students residing within Colonial School District's feeder. The kindergarten choice application will remain open until the first day of school for the 2021-2022 school year. Any kindergarten application submitted prior to the January 13th closing date will be considered in our February lottery. Kindergarten applications submitted after the January 13th closing date will be reviewed and processed weekly. Once the application period ends, all completed applications will be submitted into our choice lottery, which is generated randomly. Applications are invited using the following priority. Number 1, school and/or program capacity. Number 2, returning students who continue to meet the school program requirements. Number 3, siblings of students already enrolled in the school and who will be returning to the school for the following academic year. Number 4, children of Colonial School District employees. Number 5, students living within the Colonial School District. And finally, number 6, students living outside of the Colonial School District. Once the lottery runs, we then have each invitation board approved before informing families. After our February board meeting on February 9th, 2021, invitations will be sent to each parent and guardian via email and postage mail. If your child was not invited through the lottery, you will receive a waitlist or rejection notification via email and postage mail as well. All choice responses must be returned by March 19th, 2021. Once your child is accepted at a Colonial school, his or her choice status will remain active until the end of building configuration, which are grades 5, 8, or 12. An accepted student must remain enrolled in a choice school for a minimum of 2 years unless the student graduates from the choice school, the parent or guardian no longer resides in the state of Delaware, or the student fails to comply with the district's academic, attendance, and/or behavior code of conduct. Colonial School District offers 2 language immersion programs. At this time, grades kindergarten through 5th are utilizing the language programs at 2 of our schools. We offer Chinese and Spanish immersion as choice programs. If you're interested in your child attending one of our language programs, you will be required to submit a school choice application, even if the choice program is within your child's resident feeder school. All immersion students currently in grade 5 must choice into the program for the middle school level. For the upcoming school year, we will be accepting applications for both language programs. All kindergarten language immersion applicants are required to complete a screening prior to choice consideration. All screening instructions will be emailed to families after the application is submitted. One of the biggest deciding factors in participating school choice is transportation. Transporting a child to and from school or to and from an existing bus stop is an everyday commitment. If you are interested in your child attending a school through the school choice program, please note that transportation is not provided to choice students. Choice families can request a bus stop using the closest existing bus stop in the choice school's feeder area if there are available seats. If there are no seats available, it will be the responsibility of the parent or guardian to transport the child to and from school every day. Choice status may be terminated if the student fails to meet the district's student code of conduct for academics, attendance, and/or behavior. It can also be terminated if the choice seat was approved for daycare and the student no longer attends the daycare. And finally, if the parent or guardian chooses to terminate the seat at the end of the school year. Choice status automatically terminates at the end of building configuration, again, grades 5, 8, and 12. If your child is terminated from the school choice program, he or she is expected to return to the feeder school based on your address. Students terminated by the school's principal after failing to comply with the district's student code of conduct will not be able to participate in the school choice program for the following year. If you now have a pen and paper, please take note of my contact information. And if you have specific questions regarding school choice that you would like to discuss, please feel free to email or call me. I'm glad to help in any way. At this time, we will answer any and all questions in the chat box.
Ms. Johnson, are you ready?
I am ready, Mrs. Jones. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. So the first question I already answered. We had someone to ask, last year I went up to the school to register my daughter. Can we still go up there or do we need to call and make an appointment? And I responded that parents can go to the school to register, that there is no appointment needed.
That is correct. We also have an online option for registration. Whether you're pre-registering at your feeder school, you can do that online, or if you're just considering online registration for school choice, that's also an option online. If you don't choose to do these things online, you can visit any of our schools to make time with the secretaries and complete registration.
Next question. I just want to confirm that if we already choice for this school year, do we have to do it again?
No, choice status remains until the end of building configuration. So for example, if your child is currently a first grade choice student at Newcastle Elementary School, you will not need to complete a choice application again for your child to attend in grade 2. Your child will remain a current and choice student until the end of building configuration, which in that case will be grade 5.
All righty, so how do we find the bus schedule to see the bus stops? I'm guessing the question is, and if you are accepted for choice and you're looking to find a bus schedule for the nearest bus stop to the school, I'm assuming, Ms. Fisher, that you were asking.
Yes, that's correct. How do you find the bus schedule for school?
You will need to contact transportation and they will be able to help you with those, with the bus stops and times.
Is that number found on the website?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Yep.
Perfect.
All righty. Next question. Where does Colonial School District stand on Chinese immersion for grades 6 through 8?
Go ahead, Mrs. Jones.
Nope,
Sorry.
you got it. Nope.
Was that the end of the question?
Yep, that was the end of the question. Where does CSD stand on Chinese immersion for 6 through 8?
So at this time, our district administrators are trying to make a decision as to where the program will actually be located. However, we are accepting applications for grade 6, not 7th and 8th at this time. As our Chinese immersion families know, we are building each year. So right now we have grades 1 through 5, that are currently enrolled in our Chinese immersion program. So if your child is in the 5th grade and you would like for him or her to continue in our Chinese immersion program, we highly suggest for you to complete the school choice application that opens on November 2nd. And again, between Mrs. Jones or Dr. Lyda, there will be more information given at a later date about where the program will actually be held as far as location of school. I hope that answers your question.
All right, next question. I am interested in the preschool program for the 2021-2022 school year for my 4-year-old. What is the first step?
The first step would be to contact Colwick. Unfortunately, Colwick is not in our choice program. It's only for grades kindergarten through 12. However, we are glad to have you join our growing family, especially as a, but your first step would be to contact Ms. Kirby, who's the secretary at the Colwick Center. She'll be glad to assist you to let you know of any documentation that you may need in order to register your child for next school year.
All righty. Where can we find a description for each school program available for choice?
You can visit our website, www.colonialschooldistrict.org, where we have a profile for each school in our district.
The next one had to do with choice, but you already answered that. My child is in the Spanish immersion program and graduates next year. Our feeder school is Gunning Bedford. However, I received a letter stating George Reed. Is this correct?
No, if Kathleen Wilbur is your feeder school, but your child is choice to the Spanish immersion program, Wilbur students feed to Gunning Bedford. I did send an email out earlier to all of the 5th and 8th grade immersion families that did receive that letter, apologizing for the error. And I do have a letter being sent out tomorrow via postage mail that will have the correct information. So I'm going to clarify for you now, though. If your child is a Wilbur student, meaning your address feeds to Kathleen Wilbur and is in the Spanish immersion program, your child is going to feed to Gunning Bedford. But in the event that you're interested in continuing in the Spanish immersion program, you'll still have to complete a school choice application for that program.
All righty. So if a child is accepted for choice and there ends up not being being a spot available for the closest bus stop near you, what if you are unable to attend that school due to no transportation?
Unfortunately, in the event that there are no seats available on the bus that is the closest existing stop for that choice school, I mean, we can have a conversation about other options. There have been situations since I've been in this position where families were able to partner with other daycares that provided, or after school programs, that are able to transport children to and from school. I hope that we can work something out. I'll try my best to assist you. But in the event that there are no other alternatives, then obviously we can discuss other options for your child.
What if they have not done the immersion program in the elementary school? Will they be able to sign up for the immersion program, I'm assuming, at the middle school level?
Unfortunately, no. Our program starts in grades K. Sometimes we'll take students in grade 1, but it's very rare. Unfortunately, if your child did not attend one of our Spanish immersion programs or another immersion program throughout the country, he or she will not be able to attend the immersion program at the middle school level.
And I see Ms. Gray had her hand raised after Mr. Blackburn posted. So Ms. Gray, did you want to ask your question?
Yeah, my question was similar. I got the letter but my feeder school for elementary is actually Southern. So I choiced my children into Wilbur.
Okay.
But then when I got the letter, so I just wanted to make sure I'm clear, even though my feeder school was in Wilbur and my feeder school was Southern, and I choiced my children into Wilbur, my actual feeder school is going to be middle school is going to be Gunning Bedford, correct?
That is correct. So Kathleen Wilbur and Southern elementary schools both feed to Gunning Bedford for the middle school level. So if your child if your child is choiced to Kathleen Wilbur, whether it's just for regular ed or Spanish immersion, if it's regular ed, then you won't have to do anything as far as a choice application. If your child is choiced to the Spanish immersion program, you will be required to complete a school choice application for your child to continue in that program at the middle school level. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, okay. And that's what I'll do. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because they're in the Spanish immersion at Wilbur. Okay.
Great. And you would like for them to continue?
Yes.
Good. Yep. So all you have to do on November 2nd, you'll complete the school choice application, and then we can, further discuss as far as after our February lottery.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Next question. If I choose to keep my child home, who do I contact? I'm not sure, Miss Natalie, if you are speaking of kindergarten or just now in this current situation.
If this is for this current school year and you're opting to keep your child virtual, can you call the district office tomorrow? You can actually speak to Mrs. Leary. she'll be able to give you more information. But if you're talking about for next school year, we haven't discussed that option as far as if next year will be virtual or not, as we're trying to get through this current school year. But if you can give us a call at the district office tomorrow so we can further discuss and I can better understand your question, I'll be able to assist you.
All righty. Will there be open houses virtually to discuss special programs at middle schools?
To my knowledge, yes. At this time, you are able to contact the schools to speak with either the secretaries or principals to schedule something as far as touring the school. I do know that we plan to host something virtually for each school at a later date. I do not have that information at this time, but I highly suggest for you to continue to check our website for that information.
Okay, so report cards are needed to be included with application for the VOTEC high schools. When will they be mailed out to ensure the application is submitted during the school choice period? So the marking period ends November 6th. So therefore, within the next 7 to 10 business days after the close of the marking period, all students should have their report cards.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Okay. If Spanish immersion isn't our first choice and they don't get into their first choice, so they still have a chance to do Spanish immersion? ?
Yes, I'll make sure I'm understanding this question correct. So if you put Spanish immersion as your second choice, so if this is for a kindergarten application and you list Spanish immersion,
or will there be less spots going into middle school?
No. So what the plan is to have the same amount of 5th grade students that we have currently in Spanish immersion open for 6th grade. So in the event that your child is in the 5th grade at this time at Kathleen Wilbur and attends the Spanish immersion program, if you're willing to continue in the program, we'll more than likely have a seat available for your child so that they can continue at the 6th grade level.
Yes.
Did I answer the question? Because I can't see the question, so I'm trying to remember.
So it's my question, and I'm guessing I'm asking, let's say their first choice is another school and they don't get into that choice. Will they still have the opportunity to do Spanish immersion, or because it wasn't their first choice, will there not be a spot available for them?
So they should, and it depends on what the first choice school is, because it really depends on how the lottery runs. But if your child is currently attending the Spanish immersion program, but you would like for them to go to a different school as your first choice and they don't get in, they'll probably get in through the second choice, which is Spanish immersion, if they're currently a student. It's almost like we'll assure that your child gets a spot if they're a 5th grader in the Spanish immersion
Okay,
program.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Righty. So what is the cutoff birth date for pre-K registration?
Ms. Jones, you have to help me on that one because
Okay, so the pre-K registration, your child must, for the 3-year-old typical peer program, your child at least must be the age of 3, and the same for the 4-year-old. So whenever a child turns the age of 3, if they are a student identified with special needs, they can enroll at any time. But if it's a typical peer, it just depends on whether a slot is available for that student at that time or not. All right, next question. So you said that you can also register at the school. Are the schools open right now?
Yes. Our main offices are open at this time with the office hours of 8 to 12. The office closes from 12 to 1 and then reopens from 1 to 4. All of our offices are open at this time.
Yep. So if you wanted to come and register, you are good to come and register.
Please do.
And I see last name Stylist, hand is raised. Did you want to ask a question? Modo G Stylist. Oh, here it is. My children are in Colonial School District, but we moved to Christina School District. Do I need to choice them?
Okay, so there's two things. If your kids currently attend a Colonial school and you've relocated now, you would need to complete good cause choice for them to continue within the Colonial School District. So is it Mr. Stylist that asked this question? Could you please take my information down and call me tomorrow so that I can give you the documentation that you'll need? Once you complete the good cause choice application for this current school year, you won't need to complete choice again until the end of building configuration. So it depends on what grade your students are in for us to determine if you'll need to do it for next year as well.
Okay, next hand raised, Miss Shanice Neal.
Hi, I hate to keep talking about Spanish immersion, but just to be clear, so my child is in the 5th grade Spanish immersion program at Wilbur. Our feeder pattern is Gunning Bedford, and you're saying we're still required to fill out the choice application.
That is correct.
Okay, because I had a conversation with Miss Howe last school year, and she said she was going to try to get it so that everybody that's in choice automatically, when we switched over to Gunning Bedford, we would automatically transfer over. But I just want to be clear.
So what I can say, Spanish immersion is a choice program. So regardless of your child's feeder school, you'll still have to complete a school choice application for your child to attend the Spanish immersion at Gunning Bedford, right? So the same as you did for Kathleen Wilbur. If Wilbur is your feeder school, but you wanted your child to attend Spanish immersion, you still had to complete a school choice application. So it's a choice program, which you will be required to complete the school choice application.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Ms.
All righty, last question. Do I have to register at the feeder school before I can fill out a choice application?
Yes, if your child is currently entering kindergarten or not registered at a public or charter school in the state of Delaware, yes, you will be required to complete pre-registration at your feeder school based on your address. If your child is currently attending a public or charter school within the state of Delaware, he or she probably already has a state ID, meaning the registration is complete. So you can just go ahead and complete the school choice application when it opens. I hope that makes sense because sometimes it's confusing for people.
Ms. Johnson, that concludes all of the questions that we have in the chat.
Thank you. And I didn't introduce Mrs. Jones is our director of schools. I didn't get a chance to introduce her, but she's awesome. And she assisted me with all the questions this evening. So thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Hi, everyone.
I want to thank you all for attending our annual school choice information session. Again, I'm going to leave this slide here as you guys plan to exit, but I would again just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for all of our current families, for all of your understanding and flexibility during these difficult times as we are doing the best that we can to best serve you, more importantly, our students. If you have any specific questions regarding school choice, any of our language immersion programs, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. I'm available here every day at the district office between the hours of 8 and 4.
And Miss Danielle, there's only one preschool, so you don't have to find out who the preschool feeder is. It's Colwick.
It's Colwick.
It's the Colwick Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all.
Have a good night.
Good night.